Hi, so we talked in Lincoln and about the car, we talked about the diffuser and splitter I think, but a few things have changed. So one of the things on this car is like we do this event called Track Sprint, so we get up to about 90 miles an hour at one point, and you look at the data, like you can see how the acceleration just drops off starting at about 75 miles an hour. It really falls off, and I'm pretty sure that has a lot to do with aero drag. So that got me thinking. So this top flap here, originally when it was just B-Mod, we didn't have this. We just had the parts underneath. Added this, and by adding this, we got 23% more downforce out of this wing, but the drag was increased by 59%. So the drag now on this, as is 110 pounds, and the downforce is 247. So, you know, we went from 200 to 247 by adding this, but the drag went up from 70 pounds to about 110, roughly speaking. So one of the things we were thinking about, and this is, we didn't talk about this in Lincoln, but take this off. And then one thing that seems to be something that Formula FSA teams are doing, and we were wondering if we could do it like this, is up in this part of the wing, like up top here, I guess somewhere, you would add like a two-element wing back up in here. And, you know, I'm not sure where it would fit, or, you know, but if we were to do that and, you know, remove this and add the two-element wing in its place, then the hope is that it would be less drag, and we could duplicate the amount of downforce this is making. You know, so we need to make 45, 50 pounds, and if it makes more than that, then the thinking is to do something similar on the front wing. So I don't know if we could use this here with a secondary element, or I'm thinking you guys probably already have like dual element designs already that you've already tested and they'll work. And maybe something like that we could put in here, if you agree this is a good idea. Maybe the other complication of that is I think your wings are top mount or bottom mount, where these I'd want them mounted to the end plates. I think that would be the cleanest, easiest way to do it, if this is a good idea. And then if this makes more than that 45, 50 pounds of downforce, then I was thinking maybe we can do something similar on the front wing, and then maybe use this guy here, maybe not, but do something there to kind of get our aero balance back. So yeah, so that's the first thing I was talking about. So now I'll get to some other parts. Okay, so here you're kind of looking at our splitter. That's down there, and if I zoom out, there it is relative to the front wing. And then, you know, be curious any thoughts you have on the splitter, and, you know, like angles and, well, any thoughts you have at all, actually. And then, yeah, as I mentioned before, about if we had to do something on the front wing to balance it, it'd actually be fairly easy. There's some bolts that hold our dive plane on. Back there, it'd be easy to have you know, extend this up however we wanted, and then another wing going across. Yeah, to match the back, if that was a possibility. And then, again, let me just take the front wing. There, now the wing's off. Now that the wing's off, you can kind of have a better look at the splitter. And then, yeah, and where it goes. And off the splitter too, you'll kind of notice, it's hard to see, but back in here we have a diffuser. Try and, yeah, it's hard to see, but we kind of have that as part of the integral part of our splitter. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that. We're thinking the splitter though, unless you think you have a product that can be adapted to work, that would be fine. And otherwise we're thinking we can 3D print what we need again and make a mold and take a shot at making it ourselves. The other thing I wanted to show you too, I forgot here, I'll put the wing back on. That, again, originally this was a B-Mod, so the car was narrower. And you can kind of see we have the vortex generating end plates. But they kind of, stand back, you can see they line up. They probably hit the tire about there, which is not ideal. You probably want them hitting out here somewhere. So I don't know if you have any thoughts around that. And then, yeah, and as we talked about, or as I want to talk about too, you have the side skirts that go along the side to seal the bottom, stop the high pressure air from getting in underneath. So those are something that well, if you think it's a good idea. They seem like a good idea that, we'd want to add those. And then again, we have our side pod diffusers here. They used to have a lip that would come off here, up this way. And just being 3D printed, that was kind of a weak point, so they broke. But yeah, if we made new ones, we would kind of have that lip up there. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on side pod diffusers. And when I say thoughts, like, I mean, certainly willing to pay for your knowledge and any CFD work you do. And then, again, back to the rear diffuser. We had talked about that in Lincoln, and about duplicating ours, but making it out of carbon fiber, maybe steepening the angle, see whatever we could do to optimize it. If there's any, again, help you can give us there to how steep we can go, or aggressive would be good. I also noticed on your website you have diffusers, and it sounds like they can be made to different sizes to fit your particular car, but are based on your design. And that may be a much better option for us to go. So interested to know what you think there. And if we could do that, and that might be a much better approach than kind of building something here from scratch. And yeah, that's basically, I think that's the plan. So we got to optimize the diffuser, optimize the front splitter, go with the side skirts to seal the sides. And then again, what I talked about with the rear wing, adding a dual element up top there. And then if we make more than 50 pounds of downforce, then try to match that on the front wing to keep the aero balance, because we're happy with where it's at. Yeah, so anyways, I'm interested in your thoughts. Thanks.